Okay, I think stream is up and we are live. Let me just check that, and yeah, we are live. Let me start the stream live now. Join in. Okay, that works. Let's shorten this. Okay, today's task is we want to do we want to find all the edge cases, and not all the edge cases but at least some of the edge cases, and resolve those. That's the plan. Let's start with yesterday's edge case, which was divided by, we don't have try catch, right? we Yes, we have done this. Let's uncomment the try catch. Try catch was this, what should we call this? Yeah, try catch block. I forgot the name. Okay, we have the event data. I want to check if we get like some. No, we do get the event, but I guess this one is the error. I just want to store everything in a JSON file. Import fs from fs. We go down here. No. Catch. Okay. Here we'll say fs dot write error to file, fs dot write file sync error. And hopefully everything should work. pnpm dev, it should run. Let's see. If we get an error, it will be here. What did we modify? Okay, that works. Where is the error log file? Do we have that? Yes, we do. I don't know why it's opening here, but I guess that it is what it is. Oh no, I think pn packet.json, and we are saying pnpm dev, right? Envio's root folder is that, the generated part. That's why we are getting, the file is getting stored here instead of root of our folder, root of our project. Maybe that's the issue. Let's see. Next, we have done this. I want to see the report.js, and now let's find how many times we have three. Oh, we have multiple edge cases. Let's stop this for now and look at each of these. Let's open the transaction hash, ether scan. Yeah, this was yesterday's. This is the transaction that we saw yesterday, where we have the issue of no, we didn't see this yesterday. Borrow by user not found. So you see, the issue is user has not borrowed anything yet, but we still have, but we are getting the repay error. Sorry, the repay event. This address, if you see in the error file, it says borrow by user not found, which is we should have gotten an entity for this user and the particular asset, but that is not found, and that's why we are getting this error. My assumption is, if you look at this part, sorry, this token is ERC20 token, and anyone holding that token is the debt holder. So do we have transfer? No, it can't be transferred. Aave can variable that. My assumption was someone sent variable that token to someone else, and that's why we are getting this particular error, but I don't think so. Yeah, that tokens are not transferable. So how can we figure out what was the issue? Source address this one called it. Yeah, I'm just saying this is the two address, so they are calling the pool. Source address and two, if both are same, then we know the user is calling the pool address, not some other party. We have repair and user same, so it shouldn't matter. We can use any of these addresses. Only issue is we haven't found the borrow position for this user. So why is that? We should be able to figure that out. Transfer from to. Write as a proxy. Okay, transfer is allowed. Then why do they say, like, since dead tokens are non-transferable? Should we check the contract? Not docs. GitHub Aave pool. I want to see the token part. Tokenization, variable dead token, transfer, operation not supported, transfer from operation not supported. But we do have an event from the user to 00. Let me look at this event on Tenderly. You can open Tenderly and check the stack trace, sorry, not stack, trace, and that way we can figure out where this transfer event is coming from. If we can figure that out, it will help us figure out if variable dead token is transferable or not. I know it's not transferable according to docs, but then why we are getting this transfer event? That's my question. Okay. I want to see where it's getting burned. Mint and is there burn? Yeah, burn is there. Okay, so user can only burn it. That's why we have the transfer event. So that can, one reason is removed from this. Oh, no, let me zoom in and say why borrow position for user is not there, question mark. Possible reasons: variable debt token might be transferred, but that is not possible as transfer event, no, transfer function is disabled. Okay, what can be the next reason? We need to figure that out. Okay, remove this. We can keep this open. We have transfer, we have burn, we have reserve data updated, we have transfer again, which is sending die from this address to this address. This is the user, but what's the other one? Okay, that's die address. Ethereum a die. So someone is transferring die from user is transferring die from their address to a die address, a eth die address. And then we have repay event, which is the one we are indexing. User is paying their own debt. Can we see Aave transactions? By wallet. There is no way to figure that out, right? Yeah, I guess there is no way. Okay, can we say Aave Explorer? Let's see if we get something out of this. Okay, I'm not signing up. Okay, this is just some random website. Okay, Aave blockchain. No, ignore this. We'll just go to user's address and figure out. Okay, they have multiple, they have 5,000 transaction. We need to go to like 2023. Was the date 2022? I just want to see the actual date. Jan 2023. Oh, March, Feb, and then January. Okay. Borrow, supply with permit. Supply with permit, they borrow. Wow, that's a big amount. Log. And we should see. Oh, we have supply. Can we see borrow? they are borrowing this asset. What is this? USDC. Are they at any point borrowing? We again have borrow. We have repay. Logs go at the bottom. See borrow. Again USDC. Not use USDC. Why person is borrowing so much USDC? Okay, borrow die. They borrowed die, and our transaction was okay. Let's close some tabs. USDC die. USDC. We don't need USDC transactions. We need die transactions right now. And let's say borrow. Okay. No. They did borrow this. I'm very confused about this. Use a token is my question is when they use a token, I'm assuming that's what they did here. No, no. They didn't do that. I'm not sure why this is happening, because there should be a position open for the user, and it's not right now. We can check the other transactions and see. Okay, is this the issue? Maybe, because if you see at the top, if you can see the number, we have same issue with half of the divide this number by 2, so 5 and 7, 57 transactions which has same reserve address. Yeah, you see 57. And how many errors do we have? Error. Oh no, we have multiple errors. Okay, now this is disturbing. We have 261 errors with this reserve. Are we doing something wrong? It's WETH. Okay, issue is with weth die. What can be the issue? We are not getting. Should we should start debugging the borrow. Sorry. No, we have the raw data. So let's look at the raw data. Local localhost 8080. Then go at the bottom. We have raw events. Transaction to transaction from, where params has key source transaction field. Okay, transaction fee field doesn't matter. Contained in, this is the given, this is the column contained in JSON value. Does the okay, is the column contained in the given JSON value? Does the column contains the given JSON value at the top level? Should we try adding that? Adding this as the JSON value and see if it shows us. Then show parameters. Yeah, okay, no. Let me try different things and see. At some point we'll get some value, right? Okay, let's remove the filter. I don't understand. Okay, we do have this. Can we filter by event? I know we can. I'm just asking. Borrow. Okay, no. Let's see event names. Reserve event name. Supply, withdraw. Okay, it's capital B, not small b. Yes, we can see this. Now, what we can do is, I'm just looking at borrow event and trying to understand. Okay, params and then root query. Go at the bottom, then raw events. Where parameters, and we'll copy this. I'm just putting this in ChatGPT to understand what all that means. These are these are the filters. Then what should the filter value be to find events where params has user field with reserve field, not user field, with value. Okay, I'm just passing all the filters and just gonna copy the example data. This is the example data. Okay, let's modify this to say params and reserve, and I'm going to copy this address. Okay, we did get something. We have borrow event, and I'm just gonna copy one of the users and add that user. No, okay, I think we can't toggle this for text wrap, but I'll scroll to so you can see the whole query. This is the reserve part, this is the user part, and we'll run it. Okay, there is no borrow event for this reserve and this user. Can we check this? Okay, we do have this one. We have borrow event. We have multiple borrow events. We'll say on behalf of. Did I spell it correctly? Okay, so I think I figured out the issue. If you see here, user address and on behalf of, we are using on behalf of address in our logic. So maybe that's wrong. let me go to borrow function, borrow dot handler, and if you see on behalf of, and this should be, are we storing using this? We are storing using this address, right? Sorry, I'm confused again. Repair is this address, which is user here. I fucked up and my understanding is fucked up, I guess. This shouldn't be the case. Let's go. No, GitHub pool. Then we already know where to go. Libraries, logic, and borrow logic. Borrow logic. No, we need to figure out this one. iPool interfaces, iPool, and borrow. Okay, borrow event is here. Let's close this and read. Emitted on borrow and flash loans when that needs to be open. Reserve the address of the underlying asset being borrowed. User the address of the user initiating borrow, receiving the funds on borrow, or just initiator of the transaction on flash loan on behalf of address that will be getting the debt. The amount borrowed out. Okay, so you see the address that will be getting the debt. I'm assuming our logic is correct now as we read this. Let's see the repay. User beneficiary of repayment getting his debt reduced, and address of the user initiating the repay, providing the funds. Okay, so are we doing this correctly? Okay, borrower should not be, borrower address should be user in the repay handler. You see this? Okay, let's delete this. Run pnpm codegen. Let's cross check once more that we are not using event.params.user. This is in liquidation. Okay, liquidation. Let me also see the liquidation event if it's there. Okay, the user address, the address of the borrower getting liquidated. Okay, that's correct. We are tracking the correct liquidation. First is here in the withdraw. Okay, withdraw is not needed right now. It's very simple. Okay, now we'll run pnpm dev, and we should not get multiple errors now because our logic is hopefully correct. we wrote the replay handler wrong, and that's why we got the error. I guess we'll still get some error, but hopefully there are no like 500 errors like we saw previously. Just starting right now. So yes, there are how many? That's the question. 137. Yeah, 230. Okay, I think this is better because last time we got like 500 something. So I don't mind. Okay, just keep in mind, like we will index hundreds of thousands of events because we are indexing the whole protocol. So 320 errors out of 15,000 events is not acceptable, but it's okay. I'm saying. Let's check if we have a borrow position for this user for this address. We do have it. We just don't know. We have block timestamp. Yeah, we can do block timestamp, right? Yeah, we can. 1648. No, 1675, 1674. 1675, 16. Both are at 75. Hash. Let's copy this. Go to Ethereum, run it, and see. Okay, these kind of events we can't miss. Paraswap replay adapter. They are too big to miss. That's the issue. $180 repair. Okay, we are not using repair anyway. We are using user, and we do know there is one event before this. So this error shouldn't arise. Shouldn't come up. Can we say preload handler false? Run pnpm codegen. I'll rename this and run it again. Let's see if we get the same error. Also, from next time onwards, we are gonna make smaller. Uh, we are going to tackle smaller ideas, not this big ideas that are this big. Lot of edge cases, and you need to understand. Okay, this time it's something different. Let's close this and see if we have. At least we are not getting. Again, we are getting the error, but unlike before, we are getting. The number is less. Let's open this. Copy the reserve. Copy the user. Okay. Okay, now I think about it. We did talk about this, right? In the repay, we are getting error at this point. Can't be 0. So current debt is borrow. Current debt is 0. And reasons for that can be. Let me console log everything. Current debt, borrow, then borrow variable, repay amount. Okay. At least we'll know what is 0 here. Current debt is 0, but for current debt to be 0, at least one of these numbers needs to be 0, right? So that's what we need to figure out. Now we messed up. We don't want. Can we access this outside try catch? Let me just create multiple. Yeah, current debt. I'll go down here, remove this. We'll remove this console log, go to try catch, and then say console log current debt equal to current date dot to string console.log borrow amount will be, what's that, what's the borrow amount, let me cross check. Borrow by user borrow. Okay, we need to create borrow by user outside. And I also need reserve data. So let's remove this part and this part. Everything is perfect. Go down and say borrow by user borrow. Next console dot log variable borrow index. Okay, now we'll just get logs when we get an error, not every time an event is processed. Yeah, so let me test it. We did get an error. Borrow amount is 0. That's the issue. So if we say this asset and this user, will we see a borrow amount? Yeah, there should be a borrow amount. Timestamp. What is the timestamp? Okay, repay is happening before this, so there should be a borrow amount. And now we'll check one more thing. Do we have borrow by user where where id is equal to 1 dash reserve dash user address. There should be at least one entry for this. Okay, you see, we do have this, but borrow is 0. Why? Raw events, run it again. Let me copy this and check in token metadata. We have this 18 decimal. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So this much amount. Instead of this we are getting 0 for some reason. Event. Now I need to figure out the borrow part. Borrow dot handler. Borrow by user big and scaled 0. Borrow by user set. If event dot params dot user equal to this user's address and let me copy this. Then first get it. No, console log everything. Console log special case detected. Events console log. I want to see borrow amount. So okay, event is already doing that, hopefully. Okay, we are almost at the end of our stream. So let's see if this runs and we get the console log. I'll stop the indexer and we'll figure out what's happening. Why we are getting borrow amount 0. Special case detected amount is this. In the repay, borrow by asset. Okay, where we are getting the error. Interest paid, current debt is getting calculated here. Borrow amount is 0 for some reason. Borrow by user. If you see, borrow by user is getting set here. This is the borrower address reserve. That won't change. 75 167564 7131 167564 6831. Okay, we found the error, why that's happening. Only issue is why we don't have this particular borrow amount in the DB. That's the question. So yeah, let's see. Okay, we are out of time, so I'll end the stream today and we'll come back to same thing tomorrow and try to debug this, and hopefully we'll get some answers. So yeah, okay. Uh, Final few things. If you are watching on YouTube, please do subscribe. If you are watching on Twitter, please do follow me there. If you have any suggestions on how I can improve the stream, let me know in Twitter DMs, YouTube comments. I'm happy to listen to them and improve the stream. Hopefully you guys will come back tomorrow same time. You already know the topic, and yeah, have a nice day. Okay, bye.